Hey folks, I'm Jack Fossett and welcome to this special guitar rigs video. Usually the guitar rigs video is just playing and showing what the rigs are, kind of giving you some different guitar, amp, and pedal combinations that I like or that I think are really good for certain applications and whatnot. This one's a little bit different. The other ones aren't going to have me sitting here yapping like this. But this is a special video that's a tribute to Peter Frampton, and Peter Frampton has long been one of my favorite guitars, and I think ultimately biggest influences in a lot of ways, you know, especially regarding melodic playing, because he's such a great player. And for those of you who don't know, he's coming up on his last tour. He's released that he's suffering from a muscular disease that will progressively leave him weaker and weaker and eventually unable to play guitar, at least up to the standard that he enjoys playing now because he's so good. And he said he's a perfectionist and doesn't really want to go out if it's not kind of top notch. And that's, of course, I don't know Peter personally. He has tweeted with me a couple of times, which I totally shared with everyone. It's just like, hey, check this out. Peter Frampton's responding to my tweets. It's not a big deal. It's a very big deal. You know, even though I don't know him as someone who has really loved his music for a long time, it's very, it's sad. And I'm particularly sad that I don't get to see him on his last tour, because I'm not going to be able to make it to his concert, which is down in Boston. That's the closest to me. I won't be able to make it to his last tour, and he put on absolutely one of the best shows I've ever seen, and it's a tie between he and Paul McCartney. That's how good this show was. It was Paul McCartney at Fenway. Peter Frampton was at Merrill Auditorium in Portland, Maine, which is much smaller than Fenway. It's a beautiful theater, but he was just amazing. It was easily that good of a show. And again, one of the best guitar players, and certainly one of the most underrated guitar players. I can't tell you how many people I still talk to, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Peter Frampton, he's like the Talkbox guy, right?" And I'm like, no, go get his albums. He's fantastic. The Talkbox is, that's kind of like that certainly has part of the claim to fame, with Do You Feel Like We Do and everything. But he has so many great songs and so many great tracks and so much good guitar playing. He released an album called Fingerprints, which was, I think, what he was on tour for when I saw him, which stands to me as one of the best guitar instrumental albums ever recorded. He did two covers that I actually like better than the originals by some notable artists. He did a cover of While My Guitar Gently Weeps and Signed, Sealed, Delivered. And I like both of those better than the original songs, his versions, believe it or not, which is something that I don't say lightly. So anyway, I wanted to do, this is kind of a very Frampton inspired rig, and it just he's released the news pretty recently, and so I thought it would be fun to do a Frampton inspired sound. It's close to the type of stuff that he would use. It's not exact, but I think the sound is definitely kind of a tribute to Frampton, and when I play in this type of setup, that's kind of the frame of mind that I get into. So anyway, I hope that he knows that if he's not able to do guitar much at all or at all anymore in his future, he's certainly left more than his mark on the instrument. I think he's a fantastic guitar player, and I hope he knows that his playing and his music have meant a lot to numerous people. So for this rig, this is a special Gibson Les Paul. Of course, Peter Frampton is known as a Les Paul player, even though he plays a lot of different guitars, but this is a special guitar. I won this in Guitar Center Blues Masters, and this is named Rose, which is named after one of my daughter's middle names, and because of the rosy finish. And I got this as the prize in Blues Masters not long after she was born, which was why I named it Rose after her. It kind of makes me think of her. It has Rghteous sound Brielle humbuckers in it, which are based off of a lower wind, lower output PAF, and a Tone Man Guitar 50 style wiring harness with paper and oil capacitors. The other reason this guitar sort of makes me think of Frampton in a roundabout way, I kind of Eric Claptonized this one. It's a darker red than the famous Clapton Lucy Les Paul, which is what he used on While My Guitar Gently Weeps, but I did get the Grover tuners and the custom truss rod cover, and it's red, and that's what Clapton used on While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And again, Frampton does probably my favorite version of While My Guitar Gently Weeps. So this guitar always kind of also puts me in a Peter Frampton sort of mood, because it's perfect for that tone, and it's a great little guitar, and with that sort of connection. Plugging into my Marshall Bluesbreaker at JTM45, I named that Ben Stone. It's a Law & Order reference. And I've used 3 pedals here just to get a kind of a really sweet saturated lead tone. Frampton is known for using Marshalls. I don't know if he ever used the Bluesbreaker. I think he probably used more stacks and half stacks and things. But I have this set a little brighter than usual, and I'm using a Fulltone Plimsoul, which he's at least listed on Fulltone's website as he uses that one, and that it really, again, kind of nails the Frampton sound. I'm using a one control Prussian blue reverb to add some air, and also for some delay, because he's used some great delay. I'm using a Sonicake Echo Rain, which is actually a pretty inexpensive delay pedal, but gets a really, really nice delay tone. I hope you enjoyed this special edition of Guitar Rigs. If you're not as familiar with Peter Frampton, I highly recommend going out and getting, some albums. Get the early Humble Pie stuff. Get some of his studio albums, not just Frampton Comes Alive. Frampton Comes Alive is great as well, and he's had some, really awesome albums since then. He had one called Now, which was a great album. Again, Fingerprints is the instrumental album. He did an album with a ballet, which was really, really cool. Check that out. Definitely give him more of a shot than the Talkbox guy, if that's the way that you know him. I'm Jack Fossett. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.